Invader? You are the invader!
Motherfucking Space Invaders! Few games can claim to be as iconic or influential as Space Invaders. Those little alien dudes have been slapped on all sorts, like pillows, cufflinks, ice cube trays, basically everything. Hell, I even have socks with the damn things on. They are children's socks. Don't judge me.
Since its arcade release by Taito in 1978, the game's been ported to pretty much everything, from the Atari 2600 all the way up to modern iOS devices, not to mention the numerous sequels and reimaginings that attempted to mix up the formula to varying degrees of success.
One of these was so bad that ScrewAttack.com named it the worst remake/reboot ever.
Guess which one we're playing? Space Invaders Invasion Day was released in 2002 for the PS2 in Japan before gradually coming out around the world over the next couple of years. Our American viewers may know this better as the GameCube game Space Raiders, since they didn't get the PS2 version and it's only called Space Invaders Invasion Day in Europe. Possibly because Space Raiders are a corn-based snack here in Britain.
Which, for the record, are fucking delicious.
You could argue that this isn't a real Space Invaders game since it only bears the name in one particular region, but fuck it. One of the characters has a Space Invader on his jacket, so that's good enough for us.
So is this reboot of a classic arcade franchise really that bad? Only one way to find out. Invasion Day opens with Earth being invaded from space, naturally. We're introduced to our three playable characters: Justin, a teenager and runner-up in the Ray from Bug Island lookalike competition, Ashley, a reporter with tits big enough to make Guinevere blush, and finally Naji, a policeman who seems to be trying to impersonate as many characters from the Metal Gear Solid games as possible at the same time.
There's also a shower scene with Ashley that comes out of nowhere, only lasts a couple of seconds, and does not contribute anything. We don't have anything funny to say about that, we just thought you should know that the devs were the sort of people who felt that their Space Invaders game needed a shower scene.
Okay, let's go with story mode. We want the true experience of Invasion Day, right? And let's go with Justin, because his attempts to emote remind us of the old, adorable, and not at all terrifying PS1 Tekken FMVs. If you saw the intro, you'll know that Justin's story is one of revenge, since all of his friends are dead. You know, with the whole being stupid enough to try and take on the Space Invaders with lead pipes thing. I mean, if you're Mike Hagar, then maybe, but otherwise it's not really a good move.
So, how do you think they managed to update the Space Invaders formula for the PS2 era? Well, if you said by only letting you move from left to right whilst shooting waves of aliens from behind destructible cover, then good for you, because that's what we're stuck with. Don't innovate too hard, Taito.
Yeah, I mean, this game gets criticised a lot for its departure from the original, but outside of the aesthetics, the basic mechanics aren't really that different. You shoot the bad alien dudes whilst moving from side to side, although you could argue that this could equally be a modern reinterpretation of Gallagher or Centipede by that logic. Not to say that this game is good, just that maybe not being true to the original is the least of this game's problems.
The way the game works is that you kill multiple waves of enemies in each location, then fight a boss and move on to a new stage. There's 6 in total. You battle them through the streets, the sewers, an Air Force base, and finally in the alien ship, running into all sorts of alien enemies like sentient alien boobs, rejected Quake monsters, Biolante, Final Fantasy flans, giant enemy crabs, weirdly vaginal zombies. There isn't much artistic cohesion, is the point I'm trying to make.
Jeez.
Obviously, just pew-pewing all this stuff with your teeny tiny gun wouldn't be enough, so you have a little bar down there that fills up with, blips? You get these from pickups and can either spend 1 blip on a grenade or 2 blips on a unique attack. Justin has this mostly useless beam thing, Ashley has an AoE blast, and Naji fires his blue balls at people and uses them to ricochet his bullets. Don't ask why or how, Naji just be freaky like that. There's also power-ups that give you stuff like super speed, slow time, or a hollow duke.
But although all this works well enough on the regular enemies, none of these really help with the bosses. They're huge damage sponges, made even worse by having no visible health bar. Hell, the raid bosses in World of Warcraft go down quicker, and at least there you can see how pitiful your damage is.
And it's not just the bosses that take ages. Most of the individual waves take less than a minute to beat, but there's just so many of them that it takes forever to beat each stage. Okay, the game takes less than 2 hours to complete, so they're not that long, but they feel longer. It's the sort of game where you can feel yourself aging as you play. The icy fingers of death clawing upon you, the uncaring ravages of time wearing away at your flesh, reminding you of the inherent impermanence of life. The knowledge that all you are and all you ever will be is but a footnote in the pages of history, so you'd best make the most of it, because it's almost over. And you're sitting here playing Space Invaders Invasion Day like a fucking idiot.
Now, I'm angry.
Also, I don't know about you, but there's just something about the way this looks that's like the opposite of iconic. The original Space Invaders, though super basic, has such a recognisable look that it's often used to represent gaming as a whole. Hell, you could show this to as of yet undiscovered Amazonian tribes and they'd probably recognise it. This fucking thing though, it looks like a game made in the early 2000s, nothing more, nothing less. It's not bad per se, just meh.
So due to a combination of battle fatigue and not particularly giving a shit, you'll probably die quite early on and realise both the best and worst thing about this game. You have infinite continues, and when you respawn it's at the exact same point with full health and some free grenades. You are functionally immortal, you just need to have a little bit of a lie down every now and again, so any illusion of challenge is poof, gone.
The only thing that will stop you from beating Invasion Day is simply not being arsed. So you carry on, although at this point all sense of self-preservation is lost because why bother? So you'll die and you'll die and you'll die and you'll die, but it doesn't matter because there's no real punishment. It's almost like Highlander, but dumber. Okay, maybe not that dumb. It wouldn't be so bad if the combat felt good. I mean, sure there's no challenge, but that doesn't mean it can't feel good to shoot aliens. But no. The guns feel like pea shooters, and sure there's a combo meter that powers up your gun, but even when you do get a combo up, it's not even worth the hassle. Regular enemies die quick enough anyway, and the bosses take too long regardless.
Terrible. Why would they do this?
Anyway, once you beat the Air Force Base stage by hitting the crab boss for massive damage, Justin steals a jet and crash lands in the alien ship. At least we think it's an alien ship he crash lands in? It's not particularly clear from the cutscene. Wherever it is, it must be pretty damn tall since the next stage takes place entirely in a descending elevator. Once you beat the elevator stage, you finally meet the alien leader face to what is probably its face.
I hate your voice. I hate your looks. I hate your heart. You are nothing to me.
My god, we were invaded by YouTube commenters.
It turns out the reason the aliens invaded was because our radio signals and broadcasts had started to reach their home planet, and I guess the thought of getting 50 years worth of Coronation Street episodes just sent them all a little nuts. So yeah, we invaded their space with our broadcasts. We are the Space Invaders.
That's almost clever.
Invader? You are the invader!
But before you take on the big boss, you have to fight another handful of enemy waves and then take on 3 of the previous bosses again. It's a responsible game. It recycles. As well as a new boss, so that's 4 damage sponge bosses in a row. Your reward? Fight the final boss! Christ, it's a good job we're immortal.
The final boss fight is at least a little unique since you're now able to move around the arena in a circular motion. Downside being, because you can't aim from left to right, it means it's actually impossible to miss the boss until its final form, where some degree of precision is actually required. So we have a final boss where you can't really die, and also you can't really miss. Does the game even really need us here at this point? I mean, can we go do something else while it finishes itself off?
So you beat the damn thing, and Justin somehow gets back into the city to bask in his victory. However, the basking is short-lived as he discovers the aliens aren't done yet, and the invasion has only just begun. So everything we just did, entirely pointless.
Space Invaders Invasion Day is not a very good game. It's boring, repetitive, and the token story isn't really worth commenting on other than to say it exists. The game is at least mercifully short, even if it still somehow feels too damn long. Who knows, maybe Ashley or Naji's endings are better than Justin's, but we'll be buggered if we're going to beat this thing 2 more times to find out.
The other game mode, Survival, is often considered by the very unlucky few who've played this to be the better mode, if only because it's just a regular game but with no continues. Although you're probably still better off just playing the original Space Invaders. Which you can! On the title screen, if you hold down L1 and R1 and then push X and circle, you boot up the original Space Invaders. Why they decided to hide this rather than to have it on the main menu is a mystery, but hey, at least there's something of worth on this disc now. So is Space Invaders Invasion Day the worst reboot ever? Yes? No? Maybe?
I know we've spent this entire video shitting on it, but it's honestly not the worst thing we've played. Although, granted, looking at the things we've played on this channel, I know that doesn't say very much. It's boring and shallow and the voice acting is kinda horrible, but it's not like it's egregiously broken or anything, and it's not like there was any deep Space Invaders lore they could screw up. You know, it's just aliens bad, kill. Again, this is not a good game by any stretch of the imagination, and it's really not worth your time, but could have been worse.
Do we have any of those Space Raiders left? Hey guys, remember that thing we said in the video you just watched about YouTube comments and well, you know, we didn't mean you guys, because we mean YouTubers, and that's not like, you guys are potatoes because a tuber is like the name for the genus of the root vegetable nightshade that potato is? Because it's the kind of like, it's a joke. Cause anyway, if you liked our video, you should give us a like, because you're not like those YouTubers that nobody likes, right? Just, we worked hard on this video, and if you like it, then let us know, and it makes us happy, and I'll never call you a potato again, I'm sorry.
Shut up! What I want is to kill you! All of you! Kill all, kill all, kill all, kill all, kill all, kill all.
Snake, that's not a cave demon, it's a canyon mangrove crab!